Okay, welcome to the GHQ challenge, the 7-day challenge to get your glutes, your bottom, your hips and your quads more flexible, okay, more supple. So hold the stretches for 30 seconds at least, or if you have the time, go a bit longer, maybe up to 1 minute or even 1.5 minutes on each stretch. So this is done 7 days in a row. You're going to do the same 7 stretches for 30 seconds plus 7 days in a row. And the way you progress it is try and elongate the muscle, relax the muscle, and try and go a bit further as you feel you can. Ideally, you want to be really body a bit warm when you come to do this. So rather than starting from a sitting position, I'd recommend that maybe you jog on the spot for 1, 2 or 3 minutes, get your body temperature warm, and then go straight into the following 7 stretches. Stretch number 1 is the seated glute stretch. Put one foot on top, rotating out from the hip, if you can. Sit back in your chair, the other foot is flat. Hold on to this foot, if you can, with the opposite hand, and the same hand, same leg, gently pushes that knee down. You can lean away from it as well to stretch out the groin, the inner thigh here, and the hip and the glute muscle just here. It's really a glute and hip stretch. Pushing like so for 30 seconds. Try and relax it. Remember, it's rotating out from the hip, not your knee, okay? Then you do the other side. So this is stretch number 1, which is the seated glute stretch. So again, relax and it will drop out as you push it down. You can always lean away. Your goal is to get the knee almost horizontal with the foot, like so. Okay, just holding, and again, it will drop. Good, 30 seconds to 1 minute to longer. Stretch number 2 is hold on to a wall or a chair and take the standing quadricep stretch. So pull the ankle into the bottom, your supporting leg is slightly bent, keep straight up, open the hip up, and stretching the front of the quad and the hip flexor. If you have problems grabbing this, you can simply bend your heel into your bottom with your knee forward and stretch the quad this way. But ideally, build up to do a standing full quad stretch. Do 30 seconds at least on each side, and it's a standing quad stretch. Good. Stretch number 3, which we'll do just here, is the kneeling hip flexor. So drop down carefully to a soft surface, put one leg forward at a right angle bend of your knee, the right leg forward in this case with your right hand, okay? Your left leg, in my case here, is back, can drop onto the back of the bottom and just gently drop your hip down. From there, you can increase the stretch, not so much by leaning back, by bringing the leg that is back, the same hand behind your head, and then lean your upper back slightly, elbow back, and open your hip up. But don't compress your lower back too much. So basically, it's just elbow back while you drop your hip down. Then you would change sides. So the front leg at a right angle, the same leg, same hand on the knee for stability, knee back, drop the hip down, point the toes of the back leg, hold behind the head, and just drop into that stretch while you're getting the elbow back. I'd say don't lean too far back with your lower back. Just keep your body forward, keep your head down a bit, but elbow back, and open the hip up. That is the kneeling hip flexor stretch. Good. Then you lie flat down onto your tummy, like so. And what I'd like to do here is pull your ankle into your bottom. Go side on, grab your ankle, and then rock back onto your front. Bring your other hand under your chin, and then pull your ankle into the lying quad stretch, the lying quadricep. Pull the ankle in and breathe. You can even push the hip in a little bit to increase the stretch. 30 seconds on that side, and again, go onto your hip if you need to. Grab the ankle, get it secure first, and with control, then lie onto your front. Put your hand under your chin, and pull your ankle into the bottom, and push the hip in and breathe. And try on all these stretches to elongate if you can. In other words, go further on the stretch when you can if the muscle relaxes. Once you've done that, then sit yourself up, if you can, into what is called a pullback stretch. Where you're going to tuck one leg pulling back. Now get this knee behind the hip line. So pull it back. Other leg will kind of be about a right angle bend. Pull the foot into the bottom, and then turn the opposite way with your torso. And you can even perhaps drop down onto your elbow, like so. Just hold that position there. And that's a pullback hip and quad stretch. Hold that position. If you don't feel it, then whip the knee back a bit further, keep the knee secure on the floor, turn the opposite way, and then drop down onto the elbow, and you'll feel it on the hip and the quadricep. Hold for 30 seconds at least, and then come slowly up. Changing sides carefully, whip that leg back, okay, behind the hip line if you can, pull the ankle into the bottom, then once the knee's secure on the floor and comfortable, remember don't rotate the knee, it's the hip that pulls back, then turn your torso and perhaps even drop onto that elbow without letting the knee lift up. So hold it there, and then try and relax it, lean back a bit further, lean away from the stretch to elongate the muscle a bit further, and then come up. Good, the next one's quite tough, it's called a pigeon stretch. We have the front leg, really, so the knee's more or less in line with the heel. The heel can be back a little bit, just there, okay? And then use your hands either side of your leg. This hip is turned out. Your back foot pointed, and with your hands, try and square your hips up, keeping your body forward. And relax the leg. You're going to get a really strong stretch into the glute here. So try and get your hips straight with the back foot pointed. Okay, be careful this knee doesn't rotate and it's the heel. And then you can drop the body forward a bit if you wish. And you can even get yourself square and then lift up as well, and that will increase the stretch in a different way. Changing sides, careful your knees don't rotate. Put your foot forward so it's in line with the knee. Rotate your hip out. Use your hands, lift up, point the back foot, and then drop down into what is called a pigeon stretch. Just holding, you can move forward, you can lean back a little bit. Try and concentrate on dropping the hips square, back foot pointed, and hold 30 seconds on each side. Okay, and then the last one I'd like to work on is called a figure of four, where you lay on your back, bend your knees, put your foot on top and rotate your hip out. Bring your hands through the center, hold behind the leg, and then let your hip turn out. You can lean back and put a cushion under your head, and then pull this knee back to increase the stretch on your glute and your hip, and just breathe like so. Hold that stretch, try and relax the muscle, 30 seconds at least on each side. Put your foot on top, let your hip turn out, feed your hand through the center behind the leg, relax it, and then bring the leg back, and you relax your head back and hold that stretch. You can even apply this, if you want to, against a wall. So from here, you could come away from the wall, put one foot on the top, one knee back, let your bottom just gently sink down, so it's nice and secure. Support your head if you want to, and then drop your hip out like so. There's another way of doing it. Rather than struggle with your hands through here, foot goes on the wall, like so, and then drop your hip down into the stretch. So it's called a figure of four. And there we have it. That's the 7-day GHQ stretch challenge, working your glutes, your hips, and your quads. Relax the muscle consciously, and you'll find it will really loosen your hips off, which will help your hip health long term. So give it a go, and as with all other challenges, the accountability side of it is, on the text I'll put with this, please text me every day your name and the day 1, day 2 completed, and I will come back to you and motivate and keep you going to get through the 7-day GHQ challenge.